You know that feeling, right? That moment of pure dread when your computer, your lifeline to pretty much everything, suddenly goes on strike. It freezes, it crashes, it just stops. But what if, instead of getting frustrated, you could become a kind of digital detective? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do.
So the screen is frozen, or some app just refuses to close. It's really easy to feel totally overwhelmed. But every mystery has a starting point. The secret isn't having all the answers right away, but just knowing what that very first step should be.
And that first step is don't panic. I'm serious. The best tool you've got is a calm, methodical brain. We're going to tackle this with curiosity, not fear. From now on, you're not just a user, you're an investigator, on the hunt for clues to crack the case. Think about it. Before any detective shows up at a crime scene, they already know the basic rules of investigation. For us, that means having a solid method for troubleshooting. This isn't about being a tech genius. It's just about having a reliable process you can follow every single time something goes wrong. So here's your basic toolkit. First off, jot down what you're doing. That'll stop you from just trying the same thing over and over. Second, if the computer gives you an error message, write it down. That's a huge clue. Third, always check this simple stuff, like are the cables plugged in? And fourth, you know it, the classic for a reason, a simple restart can fix a shocking number of problems. It is truly amazing how many times this is the answer. A loose power cord, a USB cable that's not pushed in all the way, these are the easy wins. So before you start thinking your computer is toast, just make sure everything is physically connected and solid. It's kind of like making sure a car is out of gas before you call a mechanic. All right, with our method in place, it's time to investigate the physical crime scene, the hardware, the actual nuts and bolts of your machine. When something's wrong here, they often leave behind some very distinct clues. First things first, let's rule out the most obvious suspect of all, power. Is the power cord plugged in snugly? Is the surge protector actually turned on? You could even plug a lamp into the wall outlet just to make sure it's working. If you confirm the power is flowing, you've just eliminated a whole bunch of possibilities right off the bat. Okay, now let's look at two really common culprits. If your computer keeps shutting down for no reason, or the case feels really hot, your prime suspect is probably overheating. That could just be dust clogging up the fans, but if you hear weird clicking or grinding sounds, or your files are suddenly getting corrupted, then you might be dealing with a failing hard drive. See, every problem has its own unique signature. Now get this. Did you know your computer actually tries to talk to you? Those beeps you sometimes hear when it won't start up, they aren't random. They're a code. For instance, on a lot of Dell computers, 2 beeps might mean there's a problem with the RAM. 6 beeps could point to a video card failure. It's basically Morse code for telling you what's broken. All right, we've examined the physical evidence. Now we're going to move into the digital world and interrogate our software suspects. We're talking about the programs, the drivers, the operating system itself, all the things that can cause a completely different kind of chaos. Ah, yes, the infamous blue screen of death. This isn't just a simple crash. It's a major, major clue. When you see this screen, it's Windows basically throwing its hands up and saying, I've hit a problem so bad, I have to stop everything. A lot of the time, the error codes on this screen can point you right to the faulty driver or piece of hardware that's causing all the trouble. Now, a much more common problem is just a single program freezing up. Here's the go-to move for both PC and Mac users. On a PC, you hit Control-Alt-Delete to bring up the task manager. From there, you can just select the misbehaving app and end the task. On a Mac, it's Command-Option-Escape, which opens the Force Quit menu to do the exact same thing. Think of it as your emergency escape hatch. So what if your computer is just acting weird? Everything seems sluggish, things are crashing. It might be time to consider you have an intruder. Malware can hide in the background, eating up your computer's resources and causing all sorts of problems. Running a full system scan with your antivirus software is a critical step. It'll either find the culprit or at least let you rule out an infection as the cause. Okay, now that we've sharpened our detective skills, let's put them to the test. We're going to dive into a few classic computer mysteries in a rapid-fire round and apply what we've learned to find some quick solutions. First up, the printer that flat out refuses to do its one job. You hit print, and nothing happens. This is one of the most common tech frustrations in the world, but the solution is usually found by just following a simple checklist. So the key here is to start simple and work your way up. First, is it turned on and plugged in? Don't laugh, it happens to everyone. Next, check the basics. Does it have paper, ink, or toner? If all that's good, try restarting both the printer and your computer. Still nothing? Then the problem might be the driver. That's the little piece of software that lets your computer talk to the printer. Updating it often solves the whole mystery.
All right, our next case, the sound that suddenly disappears. You're all set to watch a video or listen to some music, and you get total silence. Where'd the audio go? Let's follow the clues.
And again, we start with the super obvious stuff. Is your system volume muted? Check that little speaker icon. Then look inside the app or the YouTube video itself. A lot of them have their own separate volume controls. Next, make sure your speakers or headphones are actually plugged in all the way. And just like with the printer, if none of that works, your audio drivers might need a quick update.
So, we've solved some pretty tough cases today. But you know, a truly great detective also knows how to prevent crimes from happening in the first place. So, let's wrap this up by looking at the simple things you can do to keep your computer out of trouble.
The single most important thing you can do is also the easiest. Keep your software updated. All the time, developers are releasing patches that fix bugs, plug up security holes, and just make things run better. Using an out-of-date system is kind of like leaving your digital front door wide open. But look, no matter how careful you are, stuff can still happen. A hard drive can just die, or a big error could wipe out your data. And that is why your ultimate safety net is a regular backup. It doesn't matter if you use the tools built into Windows or a third-party program. Having a recent copy of your important files means you're protected from pretty much any digital disaster. You know, in the end, this whole process isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about understanding the tool you rely on every single day. A little bit of maintenance and a detective's mindset can keep things running smoothly for a long, long time. So, the question to leave you with is, are you keeping your most important tool sharp?